What's cracking, guys? Welcome back to Clash with Bondo. Tonight, well, this afternoon, I should say, I'm going to go over our war win 180. Now, it was an interesting war, pretty intense right up until the end, and you see 79 to 79 versus Noun Vietnam, obviously Vietnamese clan. Now, I feel that they did the old standard Vietnam thing, which is the old 0% opens, 2%. You see that there's some pretty poor form, 0% up top as well. Base opens, to me, they look like modding. And then you saw their number one came out with a one-hit 3-star, and you just sort of, yeah. Either way, we were 2 bases down as well, but when I say 2 bases down, I mean we had the 9, Town Hall 10s and 11s, and they had the 11. So we've hit 2 3-stars there. We did leave ourselves exposed as we missed 2 of their 11s, but they missed 3 of ours, and there was a lot of attacks elsewhere and all these kinds of things. So really exciting and stressful war for me. I left too many of my attacks till the last 4 hours, and I was pinging, trying to get shit sorted. So this war we've got starting in half hour, I think it is, for our next one, 14 minutes I should say. I'll be doing attacks a lot earlier. So yeah, always good learning curves. And you see, obviously they 3-starred everything. They had a lot of big hit downs, so they had to have, you see their number 3 hit one of our Town Hall 8s, number 4 hit Pirate 2, which is our 8.5 plus, number 5 hit our number 13. So you just see that their middle order didn't perform, which then meant that just left them open to those kinds of dramas. So really lucky win, I think, for us, and a lot to take away. So what I want to do is, we did have some, it was a percentage win, so we were 2.5% above them. You see a 65 1-star there, 67 1-star there, and what was it, 62. I did have an 88% on that. I really should have converted that. Unfortunately, I didn't, but you do see overall just good percentages, so it did help. 86 there, Dion, that was a first hit on that base, so unlucky not to get the 3 as well. But let's show the 2 Town Hall 11 3-stars. Now, Dave did an open on this with Yoda, which is his mini, and he didn't get to see a bit, so he's gone in with a Queen Walk, Go Whiz, I think it was, and he's got the few hogs for a tail there with a heel, which is a bit of a combo he does use. I'll have a couple times as well, and the hogs with that heel just give you that variation at the end of a raid. It's like using Go Wipe, and everyone bags Go Wipe out as a Town Hall 9 attack. It is quite a bad attack, there is better, but when you're coming out of Town Hall 8, sometimes that's all you know. And when you put a hog tail with that, it changes the entire dynamics of that raid. So his queen's getting in there, and it's going for a bit of a charge inside, so he's got a fair chunk already. He's just out of range of that Inferno, very lucky. Times his rage probably a touch too late, and had to use his ability to go with it. But that's then allowed him to make sure that his queen's fully healed up for that Inferno. So you see all of that stuff's pushing through the middle there. Nice jump, that's going to get him another 40% of that base. Those wizards are pretty good, they're covering around the back there, but they're going to struggle now. Unlucky to trip that bomb right there, but he probably should register that quickly. Those hogs aren't taking fire, so he hasn't had to use that heal. Where did he use it? He must have used it on his middle group. He's quite lucky with his hogs there to eat a giant bomb at the start and not have them get smashed up. We'll speed that up. Those wizards have gone around the side there. He's kept 3 archers and another wizard. He'll use those to chase his main characters in this. So obviously the healers have moved over to those golems. And that's it. Great Rave Dave. This was quite early in the war, so that that scaled us back a touch, and only put us that one base behind. So it was always good to have early. Now this base, I did say to my guys, I hit this first with Bondo 81B with a Queen Walk, Go Whiz, and stuffed it. Really, I should have just GoLaLooned this from the start. Our Town Hall 10s, I think Shine had a 96% 1-star, so he was damn close. If we had have started with a GoLaLoon from the Town Hall 10, from my own Town Hall 10, I think much earlier in the war, it would have made a better, more attack save, so to speak. The army I had here was a 4-healer Queen Walk with a Go Wee Wee, and it was intended for a further base up, one of the Town Hall 11s, but I've managed to just use it on this base 11 to take the easier option. So I've held the Queen's ability, use the earthquakes in the middle left-hand side there. You see that's a good opening to get into the middle, and then also join up the Queen. Queen is very low, so it's quite a testing point to start your raid. So what you've got to do is, I've kept the oh shit button, and that's the Queen's ability. So I've managed to keep that and used it now because I needed to get that air defense down and out of the way. And unfortunately, I've lost track of everything else. The King started walking, the Warden's gone with him, most of the witches have gone down the bottom as well, but the Queen has those golems covering her, which is really important. And you see that jump down the bottom, that was intended for a different part of the base, but that's a good way for me to be able to join up the King with the rest of the group and use him as the tank. And then you'll see a Warden's ability, because I knew those giant bombs were there, so it did help save a bit of damage off the King. And that's lights out from there. You see there's obviously a shitload of units left. Alright, sorry, just had one of the guys. Bit of a pause there. Many things. Now, we're going to look at number 13 next, and this was Phoenix's attack. Bondo 82 had quite a bad war. It was 2 stars for me, so that was really quite poor. We know that the giant bombs are in the middle of this base, and he's got a Dragon CC, I think it was. Not sure what the minions there were for. Maybe that was to try a bit of herding. He probably would have needed to go on that elixir collector instead. He's just missed that. Same thing down the bottom there. That whiz has just missed that herd. Touched too early. So he's done well with his wall breakers and just put that test one to start off with. Unfortunately, the golem's pounding a different section of the wall, otherwise he would have already been inside at that stage. So it's a good jump. The golems are at just under half. He's chucked in a couple Valks to go with it. They did get chopped up pretty quickly though, you do see. Now you see he started his hogging on the right hand side of the base. That's because that's where a lot of the tanking is. So his golems were covering that at the start, and then his King was also covering it. So he's got the 3 heals as well, so you see a nice coverage of the heals. He didn't have to rush them, but at the same time he's got good coverage. Wizards come out nice and early, so the hogs are still going, but he knows where they're going to finish up. Queen's ability, there she goes, and it's all over Red Rover. Well done, Phoenix. I think he had a 6-star war, picking up Bondo 82's shit. So that's nice. Big old 30-30 chomping away. Now the next one I'm going to show is Pirates Attack on 15. I don't normally show Pirates Attack because this is one of the accounts that we use to scale our clan points down. He's at Town Hall 8.5. I'll call it an 8.5 plus, I should say, because he's gone to Town Hall 10 to get the extra spell and open things up. As you see, level 5 golems, he's still just getting through there slowly. But why I want to show this is because J-Dam in clan did explain, or he showed me the 6-point jump. I've been using 5-point jumps, and you put your jump in the middle square, so on the third section of what you want to clear. but this one here has gone in with a 6-point jump, and it's actually quite simple to do if you zoomed in. And I did miss slightly, but you do see the effect. It did work as well. So I wanted to show this to highlight that 6-point jump, which might save you earthquakes. Instead of using 4 earthquakes, you can use 1 jump and then have another 2 spell slots elsewhere. So you see here the herding was quite well at the start with those minions, and that was nice to get that dragon out early. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose a golem to the side because that archer tower died, so the jump was a little bit late, but I just missed it. What you're doing when you're doing a 6-point jump is you're going on the 3rd square on the inside. So that was just on that last square of that expo. You do see that this jump looks like it's missing that wall. So I was just a touch too far towards that 2nd square. But when you see the effects later, you'll notice that the peckers in that run in, it is a little bit hard to see, but I will pause it. So you see a rage go up nice and early. I've got a big pecker in there. That's to help chomp through those heroes. And you'll see that goes down, bang. They jump over there. So you'll see a king. We'll just pause. There's the king there, but all those walls are intact. That pecker didn't knock through the wall. That pecker actually jumped over. So JDam's been telling me the 6-point is possible. He's seen it elsewhere. And I trialled it a few times and couldn't get it, but I've found the trick to it now. And yeah, obviously it's going to change my rating and all of these kinds of things. So after the initial start, it wasn't the world's best raid, but this is why we've got Pirate. It helps scale our clan score down, and also then gives us that hitting power and not needing to use our big Town Hall 10s to knock out these bases. So it's pretty cool to see that 6-point jump. Just have a feel free to obviously come back, pause it and have a look at it, but definitely worth seeing. Now let's have a look at DTN's attack on 16. Not the world's best raid, but I like the planning to this raid. And that's the important part, is he did miss a couple things, but the planning with those earthquakes to open up all of those cells was good. It's meant he hasn't taken a rage, and that possibly has caused him a bit of dramas, but at the same time he's gone in with a Stoned GoHog, so he's got a lot of tanking capacity, he's got good sized heroes, and it's allowed a good raid to come through in the end. You see good herding on the side there with the Wizzies. He didn't spam out more than needed, 2 to 3, that's all he wanted, and that means his heroes and golems are going to push centre. So you see that Dragon, Loon and Wiz come out, and I guess with that rage that's not really caused him too much dramas, which is nice. Couple hogs up the top there, that's to follow his golems while they're tanking. And that's the big thing he's going to miss here, is he misses his king. So he really had this centre line under control up until he missed that king's ability, because that's caused him to pop his queen. His queen has then floundered behind on this town hall, whereas if he had popped his king first, then he would have had that cover. The queen would have got through, and she possibly would have killed another 3 defences. But either way, he's walked through with the 3 stars because he had a good plan. He probably should have started, he had a wizard there, he should have started that wizard up the top on that dark barracks to have them pushed down, and then the hogs would have centre line met him in the centre. Good raid DTN. That was at a point in the war where we were going to need to use a Town Hall 10 hit down. So even though it's not an overly huge base, still a lot of stress, a lot of perceived stress to be able to get that through. And this is Rebex. She's quite new to clan, partners with Dynamo, and yeah, they've found a home, I hope. And this was quite a decent GoLaLoon. Mid-level heroes for Town Hall 9, but 15 onwards is where they start to get good. you become a lot more reliant on the heroes when they're 2020. I don't know whether it's just a psychological thing or the fact that their statistics are purely up. So when the CC split like that, Rebex, she has done well to concentrate on getting the poison down on that dragon and then getting the heal down for the king. Could have popped the king's ability now, and all the barbarians would have copped that bit of a heal and helped push through, but has missed it up until there. So not a huge difference, but you have a look. She's come away. She's cleared almost half that base, 2 air defense, that additional blower in the end. So it's just a really good push. A lot of spells being used, but not too many. So overall, a really good analysis of the base to get that section done, so the air comes through. Didn't go too heavy on the loons at the start, which was nice. Allowed for a heavier chunk in the middle, which is going to be where the main defences are, the main actual defences that are going to make any difference. And you see that second rage come out. That's brilliant positioning. It's allowed those loons to be able to travel through most of it. What's that buzz? War started in Maine. And that's it. Raid's over. She smashed it. So well done, Rebex. That was her first war, so it's always a bit stressful sometimes being in a new clan for a war. But she's done well. So 1 3-star, and it was she did hit the previous base and got quite close to it, but opened it up well. So yeah, as to whether I would report Noun Vietnam, I probably couldn't. I wouldn't. I don't think there was enough proven that they were modding, but you just see these 0% opens, and it just takes so much away from the game, you know. They could have won the war right up until the end. They were unlucky for their number 14. Didn't attack. Looks like he went AFK. He could have attacked lower bases at the end of the war and saved their big hit downs. But yeah, interesting win. As always, I hope you've learnt something, and clash on.